What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shan Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? And then the full team is here. We got Chris Abacon.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? And Daniel Acevedo.
Going, guys.
What is up? So if you have not already, please go back. So Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask a CISSP, and then Fridays everything else. So movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So this is a non-cyber related episode. Like it comes up, right? But that's not the focus of this episode. So definitely tune in Monday if you have, like, especially Monday's episode. It probably impacts you because you probably have AT&T or talk to somebody who has AT&T. So I got you. You got to come in, find out what happened. So check that one out. Hit up all the social medias that go by our name, The Other Side of the Firewall, The Other Side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. And then please subscribe. We're almost at 450 subscribers on YouTube, trying to hit 500 by the end of the month. We're almost at 1,500 subs on the newsletter. So definitely check that one out as well. And yeah, just check out all of our content. We got a lot of stuff going on. So without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, y'all. So not much TV watching, no video gaming at all. But a couple documentaries I was watching. I'm trying to remember the one. It was so. I was like, I can't even remember what it was. But like, it's one of those things where when you get so far into it, you're like, I've invested. It's 3 episodes. I've gone to. I gotta finish up the third. Yeah, I can't even remember what it was. Was
it the one with about the kids and Nickelodeon? Was it that one? That's 3 episodes.
No, because they got another one out for that I'm like, I'm not even gonna watch the last one because apparently they released one after they did the original release of the 3 episodes or whatever, and another one came out, and I'm like, I'm not really that interested. You know what I mean? And it's not that it's not a sensitive subject. It's kind of interesting, but it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. This dude was a jerk, right? Like how many episodes can you go into that and what he did? You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I can't even remember what it was because I watched it. Like I want to say it was like immediately after we got off from recording last week. I watched it and I was just like, I'm too in now. Like it's gotta be whatever. I started watching old stuff though that I've already seen before. So I don't know if you guys ever watched Modern Family. I started watching that again. So like we started talking at work about something. It was one of the scenes or something like that. Like this kid sings a song that just like sticks in everybody's head. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And I started watching it again. I was like, yeah, this show is as good as I remember it being. Because I never finished it. Like the first time, like it's got 11 seasons or something like that. I think I had only got to like season 6 maybe or something like that and never finished it. But I'm like,
I dabbled. If it was on, I would watch it. But like, because it is hilarious. But I just never was on the schedule for it.
Yeah. No, it's a good. I think it's a good show. I'm still in the first season because I started it again. But no, it's a good show, man. But I find myself not being interested by too much stuff that I see out there now. Like I'll see stuff that's out, and I'm like, man, I don't know about that. Like I watch the trailers, and I've said this numerous times before. I'm usually pretty good at knowing what I will like based off a trailer, and I'm usually dead on. Every once in a while I get fooled. But I'm like, for the most part. No, that's pretty much not for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I spent some family time last night. We had a bowling night, and like my wife won one of the rounds, which is kind of weird, right? That doesn't usually happen. So where she wins one, right? But like the second game, she beat us by a fair amount. Right, so like it was 5 of the 6 of us. Like my daughter was working and whatnot, so she wasn't there because she still lives in town. But yeah, it was the 5 of us, and bumpers. This was one of those bowling alleys where when the bumpers come up, because some of them you can go to where you can adjust and the bumpers come up automatically. But this was more an old school bowling alley we hadn't been to before.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it a real bowling alley or like a main event?
So main event is on point. Like I don't know, like when I went to main event is on point. Main event is one of the ones where like it'll adjust based on bowler, right? Like it'll go down. Okay. But this one was one of the ones where you got to pull the bumpers up manually for everybody, right? They were like, all right, it's got to be all or none. I was like, well, it's got to be all then, because the 6 and 11-year-old aren't gonna, they're gonna be constantly together, right? They're gonna get discouraged. I'm not spending the money for them to be mad at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? But that was a good time, good family night, and because we did the reservation online, the guy bought a bought a bowling pin to us. He was like, "Yeah, this is one from your lane because you guys made a reservation. We appreciate it.
That's pretty cool.
He let you sign it and take it home. So we got a bowling pin that we brought home with us. So I was like, I had to check the bottom of it because I know there was a couple times I should have had a strike. I was like, let me see if there's some tacky residue on the bottom. Is this how they doing it? Because I was like, there's a couple times I'm like, I saw that pin hit that other one and it just wobbled a little bit and stayed up. I was like, y'all got some tape or something on the bottom of this thing, man. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I felt the bottom of it. I was like, all right, they did a good job of removing the tacky residue from that tape they had on these pins. I only say that because I lost to my wife. I don't lose to her in anything, so that was a little salty. I don't lose to her in anything. The only thing she's winning in is life, and that's because she's married to me. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
That's
right, King.
You know what I mean? That's pretty much it for me. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, pretty light week for me on the media end. We watched documentary. What was it? Get Gotti, right? It was about John Gotti, the New York mobster. It was apparently it came out last year. It was actually pretty interesting, right? They kind of glamorize. Say again?
With Travolta, John Travolta?
No, it's a documentary on for John Gotti.
Was it tax evasion or was that a different mobster?
No, that's the famous mobster that killed another mobster. Yeah,
that's Capone. Yeah, that's tax evasion.
Yeah, Capone was in for tax evasion, but it was really interesting. They kind of follow him and his rise during the 80s, right? And there was like a big media blitz on him. How he beat the FBI, he beat the state of New York on a case, the Justice Department, etc. Right? But they actually have like former members of the gang, right, on the end of documentary as well, right? And they're like, yeah, I cut this guy's private parts off. I'm like, man, this guy's just talking openly about what he was doing back in the day. But that means
I think if you've been convicted of the crime, I think you could then talk about it. I think that's the way it works.
Definitely.
Or the statute of limitations.
But yeah, that was really interesting just to kind of watch that as well on really how in my head I'm like, crime versus today versus back then. Maybe it's different just the way we perceive it, but because everything's on camera, everybody's got proof of something happening now, right? Back then, when somebody got quote unquote whacked, there wasn't a phone just like watching the guy, So it's like it's completely different back in the day. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. But then it really got me to watch. Like I watched a few episodes of Sopranos again. Like I'm still in the first season, and I love that show. I've seen it a million times, but there's the acting just really good. But yeah, that's it on the media end. On the other end, wife and I've been trying to cook healthier, right? So we got this cookbook called the Okinawan diet, right? So it's got Okinawa is, if you guys aren't aware, is a blue zone. So people that are native to Okinawa just live longer than the average average people in the world, right? I think some of the areas blue zones include, like there's a place called in Yorba Linda, California, where you got a lot of people that are healthy. There's a place in Greece. There's a place in Italy, right? But they all have some things in common. But yeah, we tried cooking one of their recipes the other day, like mushrooms, a lot of sesame oils, and it was pretty good. So we're exploring different cuisines, right? Just to so that doesn't get too boring for daily consumption of food. So that's pretty much it. Fairly light. Yeah. Well, how about you, Daniel?
It's funny you mentioned Okinawa. I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys on the show or just like when we've been chatting before. So my wife's, I'm pretty sure I've said this before. I don't know if it was on air, but my wife's Japanese, obviously. So we had the conversation around Okinawa, and she says, Okinawanese are Japanese, and I'm like, they're not. And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, before the war, they were their own island and their own civilization, right? They were their own people.
It was like Ryukyu, right?
After the war, and after the U.S. and the Japanese, made peace and everything, we gifted Okinawa to Japan, and then that's where obviously now it's more heavily influenced with Japanese, and there's more Japanese descendants there. But the people before then that were there are very much islander people, right? So one thing is their cuisine, but their way of life is like very peaceful. So that's also a lot of studies about that, just like how, the older people that live there pretty much, they always preach like just being happy as a way of life. If you're sleepy, sleep. If you're hungry, eat, and just always be happy. Help others and just like live a simple life. And that's what also they think is the key to their longevity also. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, I watched a documentary on Okinawan people, like how they reach that age. And my wife lived there for a while and worked down there for a while, and she said she loved it because it's super, super like tranquil. But I didn't do that this weekend or this week. So my week kind of crazy. We finally gonna move into a house, which is amazing. Actually, we taped these episodes on Sunday, so tomorrow we will finally say goodbye to this hotel that we've been living in for like a month and 3 weeks, and move into a house. And then I bought myself a fun car, so we have the family car, and I bought myself more Japanese cars, so Toyota Crown. So
very nice, very nice.
Yeah, so back in the day, like Toyota was, so the Mark II, the Crown, and a couple other cars. Toyota kind of like re-released the same cars over and over again, but changed the frame of it a little bit. But they put the legendary 1JZE, which is like a one turbo, 280 horsepower like engine into the car. So it's really sought after. It's a very fun, pretty car. I'll definitely pass pictures off to you, Orion, so you can put it on the newsletter. So it's a 1999 Toyota Crown that I found. It's a really like unique color. It's like a dark purple. They didn't make many of those either. So it has very low mileage. So I'm really happy that I found this car. So I'll send those pictures to you, and I'll do a little write up on it so we can put it in the newsletter.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like super excited. I've been driving around for the last couple of days, and I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like loving it. Besides that, media, what did I get into this week? Not a lot. Like a lot of the animes, like the season's finished, so I'm kind of like thirsting for some animes to watch. There's a couple that came out that are in the summertime that are new, there are only a couple episodes out that I've watched here and there that have been okay, nothing like groundbreaking. My Hero Academia is probably the only one that's actually running because the show is finally gonna finish, so this is the final season. So I'm spun up on that. And then me and the wife, we watched the show, not because we're here in Japan, but it's called Tokyo Vice. It's on HBO Max, and it's actually pretty good. It's got really good acting in it. It's more of a drama, so I don't think it'd be your jazz, Shannon, but it's got Ken Watanabe. He's in that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, Inception. So he's a famous Japanese actor. He's in a lot of movies. He's in that one.
He plays a lot of the Japanese characters in a lot of the American movies. Like when you,
because he was pretty much.
Is he the same one that's in what's the one with Brad Pitt with the train? Is that him?
Or Bullet Train, right?
With the Bullet Train, the one that came out recently. I didn't watch it, but
yeah,
if it's an older Japanese guy, it's probably him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
it's like
there's two. There's Ken Watanabe, and then there's the other guy that's in the Shogun show. What's his name?
Yeah. I think that's the one I'm thinking about from Shogun. He was the one that was in John Wick 4.
Yeah, so they're different.
The Tokyo Continental. Okay, different guy then.
Yeah. So I actually need to watch that show because that show is on my list and it seems to be really, really good. So
it's Hiroyuki Sanada. That's the other guy. Hiroyuki Sanada and Ken Watanabe. I think those two are the most prolific Japanese actors that we, at least Western audiences, know about.
That made that jump.
Mm-hmm. What's her name?
Is this the guy that was in Last Samurai?
Yeah, the guy's in Last Samurai. Yep.
Yeah. As I'm looking at him, I'm like, I know who this guy is for sure.
Yeah. If you know who, he's that guy. Like you see him in a movie, and you're like, I know who he is. He's been in a bunch of movies. Like the female actress, the Chinese one. What's her name? That's been in everything.
Oh,
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. Isn't she? Yeah, she is Chinese, right? I thought she was Malaysian.
Yeah, she was in
for
Crouching.
Some reason.
Wasn't she in Crouching? And she was in this last movie where it's like multiple dragon. Like the multiple different
anything everywhere all the time at any time.
She's in Crazy Vacation. She's in little.
She's going to be in the new Blade Runner that's coming out. The new Blade Runner TV show. Oh yeah. Nice. I love her as an actress. I have to watch that movie again. I did not give it its due. I need to watch it again.
I don't know. I watched it wanting to like it, expecting to enjoy it, and then I watched it.
Everything at once.
Something felt like was missing. I don't know what. I don't know if it was something in the writing or almost felt like an incomplete thought. Like it was really good, but something kind of like
Interesting.
was
Yes.
missing, like towards like the second half of the movie. Like something went missing, and I don't know what it was. I don't know, because like the story is kind of like
It
it's very evident what's going on. You know, the relationship between
right.
the mother and the daughter, and that's kind of like right there in the front of you the whole time. And I was expecting there to be something else, but it's just that's the whole story, which is okay.
Mhm.
But it just kind of it lost itself towards the ending for me. Um, Let me see what else. And yeah, I think that's about it. I didn't really do anything else. What about you, Ryan?
So I did not get the newsletter out on time. So all the episodes are out there now. Thursday I skipped because of a scheduling issue. So all of the last two Ask the CISSPs are recorded. It's just I like to go through a process where I give it to the person, and I was just not feeling well, and I got it to them late, and so this week is a wash, people. All right, I'm sorry. Next week I'm back on it. All right. Monday, Tuesday topics, Wednesday discussion. I have a Ask a CISSP, a really good one with Roger White, Professor White. That one will air this week coming up, and then the following week will be with Miguel Clark. Both of those are recorded. They're in the can. Just waiting for a couple approvals, and I'm pushing them out. All right, sorry. But aside from that, right? Aside from recovering from whatever, we got some kind of bug on the 4th of July from the littles. They came home with something from daycare, took us out. Aside from that, I've been playing more Final Fantasy. This chapter is taking forever because I'm doing everything, and it's just so heavy on extra stuff. They're like, "You love Final Fantasy? Here's more Final Fantasy." It's a lot. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest with you. And then my palate cleanser was Dead Space. I'm still playing through Dead Space. I think I'm almost done with it. Love the game. The remake is phenomenal. So if you're a survival horror fan, if you like space horror, especially, like you like your Event Horizons, your Alien, things of that nature, Predator, like this is the game for you. I'm having a blast. It looks amazing. Sounds amazing.
I
But
love
I can't
those
play around the
movies.
littles.
I hate playing those games because I hate getting scared like a little girl.
Oh, yeah. It's going to
I'm
happen.
just so impressionable. Like I'm horrible for those games.
Yeah. The worst
Like,
scare is when you know it's going to happen. You're like, it's going to come down through this vent. And then it actually happens.
yep.
You're like, oh, no.
I saw this one clip randomly on Facebook. It was a new Resident Evil. It was like, "Don't look away." Essentially, if you turn away your character away from these moving dolls come at you, I was like, and then you look at them.
Oh.
I was like,
Oh my
"Oh God, I
God.
can't play that crap."
I think that's
No.
I think it's from 8. I think it's from
Is that
Resident
for-
Evil Village.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I
Resident
saw
Evil
that
8.
clip and I was like, "Nah, hard pass on this." You know,
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of. I have to get
those
into
jump
them.
scare
So
games.
I'm a big fan of Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time. I like the old school third person Resident Evil. 7 and 8 are from first person perspective, and I just can't get into them. I really want to though, because people love them. They say 7 and 8 was a meaningful reboot to the series. Not reboot, but like a reimagining,
A
retooling.
return to form type thing.
Yeah. People love them. But I went back and I played 2 remake. I'm playing through 3 remake. 3 was one of my least favorites. So that one I just keep dabbling in from time to time. I don't know. I just like third person survival horror zombies. Like first person, it's not that it's scarier. I feel like I can't see enough. I don't have, you know what I mean? Because it's capped at only my vision.
Yeah.
I want to be able to see around me, what's behind me. Like it feels like I'm blind. So I just don't really enjoy it. But when the littles are around, I do want to play a game. I'm playing through Ratchet and Clank Rift in Time, or no, I forget what it's called. Rift in something, but it's the PS5 Ratchet and Clank. It looks amazing. It's a Pixar game in motion. I think I already talked about that. I'm going through collecting all the things. It's really scratching the itch for me, and I think I'm almost done with that one too. I think I only have like 1 or 2 more worlds, and that one's finished. But looks gorgeous. Kids love it. They think they're watching a TV show. Little do they know I'm playing it. And then really, again, because I wasn't feeling so hot, so I've been on the couch a lot. So I was watching Demon Slayer. I'm trying to catch up because I hear like the last season's going to be movies. They're going to drop like 3 movies in theaters.
3 movies. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to catch up so I can go experience it because I've never done that before. Like when Dragon Ball Z came back to theaters, I didn't do that, and then there was another series that came to theaters. So I want to actually watch this one when they drop at theaters. Plus, it's a gorgeous anime, so it's going to look amazing on the big screen.
It's gonna look really good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to catch up. I hear that this last arc was not that great, but I'm gonna power through it. And then I've been watching an old anime. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Ghost Stories. So it's infamous. I never watched it because it just wasn't a thing, but I keep hearing on a podcast I listen to, they keep talking about it. It's notoriously bad dubbed anime, right? And it's not bad dubbed like
I saw this. It's with it.
I'm googling
they
it
had
right
no
now.
parameters. Yeah, so check out Ghost Story. It's so funny to me. Like it's a older drawn like
this is
80s,
older.
90s anime.
Yeah.
But it didn't do well in Japan. So when ADV brought it over to the States, they had 3 rules. It was do not change the names of any of the characters, including the ghosts. 2, do not change the way any of the ghosts is killed as it is based on Asian ghost legends. And then 3, do not change the meaning of the episode. But you got carte blanche for the rest of it. And it is they're cussing in it. They have these archetype characters that just don't make any sense. Like there's this one girl they just ran into. I'm on like episode 2 or 3. I'm dying laughing. They run into her and she is like very religious, but very Christian religious. So it doesn't really mesh with what's going on in the Asian culture. So like they'll be running from ghosts and stuff like that. And like somebody said something like we're gonna die or something like that. And she was like, she turned to him and looked at him. She was like, have you taken Jesus as your Lord and Savior? Like she started going through like those. And you know that's not what she's saying, but it's so funny. So yeah, they just made up stuff. So it's known as one of the worst dubbed animes of all time. But like the timing is funny. Like this one dude, like he was talking to his grandma and grandpa, and he was like, yeah, I brought the kids home. Their mom died, yada, yada, yada. And the grandpa turns and looks at the grandma and says, he was like, I can't wait for this old bee to kick the bucket. You're like, that's not what he said. That is not what he said.
Is this supposed to be like not that there's outside people doing the dubbing or whatever, like doing the talking, but is this supposed to be like Mystery Science Theater? Like, you think it's supposed to be real, but like, are they just dubbing over something? And
so they didn't have to take the script. They didn't. All they had to do was follow those 3 rules, and they can just reimagine the script. And it's not like they're out of sync or anything like that. Like everything is still spot on. Like all the timing is still correct, but that's not what was said in the original anime. So because they do things with localization where they do change things. Like I used to watch one called High School of the Dead. There's a lot of pop culture references that we wouldn't get. So they stick in McDonald's and Wendy's and stuff like, that's not what they're talking about, but it fits and it's funny. Like this is just funny. It's just like I don't know what really happened in the scene, but you made me laugh, so I appreciate it. So I'm trying to get through it right now, but when he dropped the B word, I was like, I can't watch this around the kids, so I had to cut it off. And then the last thing, because I don't want to run too long, but the last thing is I'm going through The Boys. So I watched the second to last episode. The finale happens next week.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm kind of iffy on it. Like I'm having a good time, but it doesn't feel like they've progressed. Like it's like I know the final season is next season, so it's like y'all got to get somewhere, and you only have 1 episode left.
Yeah,
so,
they gave like a little bit throughout the last couple episodes, but I feel like they're spinning their wheels, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like just like in the same spot, and not really anything's really progressed.
It feels like they don't know what the finale is going to be yet. It's kind of what, or unless that last episode is going to be off the chain. I don't know.
However, House of Dragon though. House of Dragon.
So I can't watch season 2 yet because I'm going through season 1 with my wife.
Oh my goodness! Oh man,
I've been hearing season 2 is off the chain.
Dragons
fighting.
They did not waste time. It's like every episode's been great, and this last one was like, it's a chef's
I haven't gotten around to watching it yet, but I'm pretty excited to start.
It's good.
So
it's good.
I'm on the Stepstones episode with my wife. Like, oh boy, just beat the crab. What do they call him? The crab something?
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, Matt Hill's character.
So we're like maybe halfway through it.
Yeah, you're halfway through it. Had the girl turn to, had they done the time skip where she's older now?
Not yet,
the actress has changed? Okay.
Yeah, not yet. But okay. So because I thought season 1 was pretty good, but there is a lot of, it doesn't have as much bloat as Game of Thrones had at the beginning, where you have to introduce all these new characters, stuff like that. They keep it pretty pared down. So that's why I do appreciate that. But yeah, I heard all the action is in season 2. Like, there's a lot of action in season 1. Don't get me wrong, but I hear that it's crazy in season 2. So I was like, we gotta get through this. We gotta watch 2 episodes a night. let's get to season 2.
So Chris, have you seen season 1? You said you've seen season 1 already. You're getting on season 2.
No, I haven't started yet
at all. The whole season, okay.
Not yet. So I wanted to start watching with my wife. So
yeah, I didn't spoil anything. No, you're good. Like,
trust me. It's a good show.
But yeah, there is, because I don't think we're spoiling anything. There's several actresses that play a character because they do have to progress the timeline. So I don't think that's not giving anything away to you. It's not gonna be a surprise, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna be like, oh my God. But I hear there's a lot of action in season 1. Like, you're gonna see some stuff where you'll be like, man, y'all budget is ridiculous. But I hear season 2, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really good.
But that's pretty much it for me.
I couldn't get past. It's like I haven't watched any of the House of Dragon stuff, but I couldn't get out of even Game of Thrones. Like, I never finished Game of Thrones.
So you don't have to. You don't have to. There's some like because it was so bloated. Like, I don't remember certain things. Like, so there's a lot of Easter eggs if you're a big Game of Thrones fan. So I hear, but I can't remember half of the people from the original series, right?
Yeah.
And I'm having a good time with this one. Like, it's literally just beef. Like, it's not like a bunch of political intrigue. It's just like beef. Like, we're just gonna there's some dragons, we need to fight each other with them. Let's get it. So I think you might actually enjoy this one more, but I don't want to. I'm not trying to put my name on the line on this one. So I don't know.
It's another Donnie Darko, Ryan. Like, what are you talking about?
No, there'll never be another Donnie Darko. Another Mad World. But yeah, that's pretty much been my week. I'm hoping to be fully recovered starting on Monday, get back to work again. Like, I'm happy that one of our episodes crosses over with work, so that way I can kind of it's always good to have that synergy. So the work I'm putting in for this as my hobby can also be replicated on the job. And then that's it. That's it for me. So definitely continue to tune in. So again, Monday, Tuesday are topics. Wednesday discussion. Thursdays, Ask a CISSP. I will have on Roger White. I promise this time. The episode's done. I just have to publish it now. And then Fridays, everything else. So movies, books, games, all that good stuff. I'm hoping to watch a movie or something we could talk about. If I can squeeze it in, if I can squeeze that type of time in. But yeah, so definitely. So we're trying to hit 500 by the end of the month. We're at like 450. We've actually gained like 80 subs over the past 2 months. So keep it up, please. And then 1,000 by the end of the year is the goal. We're at literally today we hit 5,500 downloads, audio exclusively. So usually I don't talk about those milestones because I always miss them, but I had to log in to mess with Shannon. So when I logged in, it was at 5,500 on the dot. So it's been a really good year. So we're probably on pace to hit 13,000 by the end of the year. So definitely continue to hit us up. All the websites that go by our name, The Other Side of the Firewall, The Other Side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. Hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on all the social media platforms. And you can find Chris and Daniel by their names on LinkedIn. Stay safe. Stay secure.